Hello, welcome back to the Zhang Agency. We're looking at Unit 2 this week, and this is where we get into some of the really fun stuff in marketing. This week we're going to be looking at building for sustainable advantage, and we're going to start working on the things that will be ultimately included in your marketing plan. So we're going to be looking at how do we plan to have a competitive advantage over all the people who are in the same business, and what can we do to look at what's out there to make sure that we cover everything. So first let's talk a few minutes about SWOT analysis. When we are looking at what's out there, and we'll be discussing this next week, there are a lot of things that we cannot change, and they're out there in society or in culture or in the economy, and there is not a thing we can do about it. The only thing we can do is look at what's out there and see what we can do to adapt. So we're going to be looking at first, how do we look inside our company, and then how do we adjust. For instance, we do a SWOT analysis. We look at strengths and weaknesses that are inside our company, and then we look outside and we look at opportunities and threats. For instance, suppose I wanted to start a company that baked really fancy birthday cakes. I have a strength because I started out, I'm a designer by training, and I started out in that field before I went into marketing and advertising. So that is a really strength because I can design wonderful cakes. I have a horrible weakness, and that is I am not a good cook, especially a worse baker. So if I were going to do something like that, I would have to put a partnership together with somebody who was a baker. I would also need to look outside. And if I did that, I would discover that there are a phenomenal number of very talented, good bakers out there that really are keeping very busy. And a recent law was passed that allowed home cooks to sell what they've baked out of their home rather than having to work from a commercial kitchen. So at this point, I would have to begin thinking, is this really the best thing for me to do? Or should I look at something else in which I don't have a lot of competition, and which I do have a lot of skills? What we're going to be doing in our creative meeting is looking at Cirque du Soleil. Cirque du Soleil is a Montreal, Canada-based company that if you've ever seen anything they've done, there absolutely is nothing like it. They combine incredible costuming, Olympic quality gymnastics and dancing, beautiful music in just an almost magical setting. There have been many companies that have tried to put together things that are close to Cirque du Soleil, and none of them have come away with anything other than looking and seeming like a very pale imitation. They have a clear competitive advantage. Enough of a competitive advantage, they can charge anywhere as much as $300 to $500 for tickets to their show. And I actually had a student in another class last semester who went to one of their shows and whose grandmother gave her one of the higher seats for her birthday. And she said it absolutely was so good that even if she had to pay for it herself, it was well worth it. So we're going to be looking at Cirque du Soleil. I want you to look at their website and take a look at some of the things they've done. They have expanded their product a bit by having different shows and doing partnerships with some of the cruise lines and some other things. So they've got it. They are branching out, but again, they still have a clear-cut competitive advantage. And that's what our job task is going to be this week. We're going to be looking at 3 ways that a company can have competitive advantage. One is in the product itself. And a product can be a thing, an idea, or a service. If you're looking at the presidential elections this year, depending on who you're planning to vote for or who has the beliefs that are most like yours, you'll believe that person has a competitive advantage over the opponent. And that is not a thing, it is an idea. So a thing, an idea, or a service. The next thing is cost, and that may be high or low. In things like luxury items, if you saw a Rolex watch, for instance, that was only about $1,000, you would clearly think something was wrong, because we all know that Rolex watches on the low end run $7,000 to $10,000 and up. So you know that that is not going to be, it's either going to be a knockoff or stolen or something wrong, because that kind of quality product is always higher. Another thing that, or it may be lower. Family Dollar Store, Just a Dollar, and some of the other companies, their cost is a clear advantage, and they have a huge target market, especially among families who are just looking for basic products at good deals. So, and the third one is a niche product, something that is a very small group of people, or very narrow thing that has appealed to a small group of consumers who hopefully have enough money to spend that they can make the company work. So that's what we're going to be doing this week. I hope that you're having a good week and that you're enjoying the rain. I hope it's raining where you are. It is here where I am. And that we get a little relief from the heat, and that you keep doing well. And shoot me a note if you have any questions. So I will see you next week. Thank you.